What up guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Josh, you can call me JD, and this is one of the most requested videos from you guys. Yes, it's finally here. I am dropping the Bitcoin video. So the reason I'm doing this, so a few weeks ago I dropped a video talking about my latest pickups, and I briefly mentioned in that video that I do invest in Bitcoin, and the absolute #1 comment I got in that video is please drop a Bitcoin video. Also, another reason, a lot of you guys reach out to me on Instagram and ask me, hey Josh, I just copped these sneakers, should I hold them? Should I sell them? And I just want to be completely 100% honest with you guys. Right now, I'm not holding any sneakers. I just don't think that right now sneakers are a good investment. So I have personally been investing a lot of money into Bitcoin. So I decided to make this video for those of you out there who have absolutely no idea what Bitcoin is, how to invest in it. So in this video, I'm going to go over these 4 points right here. I'll get into what exactly is a Bitcoin, why I think it is very important right now, how exactly it works, and we'll also get into how you can buy Bitcoin for yourself. I really hope that you guys find this useful. So without further ado, let's get into it. Starting off with what exactly is a Bitcoin, and in very simple terms, Bitcoin is basically digital money. So in order to really understand it, we actually got to ask ourselves, what exactly is money? So money, all money in the world has 3 basic functions. The first of which is it is a unit of account. And what that means is it is used to determine what the value of something is. For example, these shoes, these are worth $160. The second function of money is it is a medium of exchange. And what that means is you can easily give money and receive money from people. You can easily buy something in exchange for money. You can sell something in exchange for money. So it is an easy way to exchange value between 2 parties. And finally, money is a storer of value. And what that means is money should be worth at least approximately the same in the future. So for example, if I have $100 in my account, I hope that next year that $100 is still worth close to $100. So this leads me to the second point, which is why is Bitcoin important? And that is because Bitcoin has already proven that for 2 of the functions of money that I already mentioned, Bitcoin has proven to be a much better alternative. So as a medium of exchange, right now, my parents, for example, live in Canada. If I want to send money to my parents in Canada, it usually takes at least 2 to 3 business days for the banks to clear the money and for them to finally receive it. But if I want to send Bitcoin to my parents' Bitcoin account, it happens literally in minutes. Also, as a storer of value. Now, this is the major point as to why Bitcoin is important today. And to understand that, I need to do a little history lesson. Let's go back to August the 15th, 1971. This is a very important day because this was the day that the US dollar came off the gold standard. What that means is that before this day, pretty much every single dollar in the world could technically be exchanged for gold. So money was actually backed up by something. But after 1971, you couldn't do that anymore. So basically money was not backed up by anything. So pretty much money only had value because people believed it had value. So because dollars didn't need to be backed up by anything anymore, this gave governments the freedom to just keep printing more and more of it every time they needed to solve their problems. And that's what governments have been doing for pretty much the last 50 years. There is one major problem though with all this money printing. So whenever the amount of money in the economy increases, the price of things tend to go higher. I'm sure a lot of you guys have heard this term before. This is called inflation. Let me give you guys a very simple example. I know that this pair of Jordan 1 UNCs, let's say it's worth $1,000. Now, not a lot of people can afford that, but let's say tomorrow the government decides that every single person in the country is gonna get an extra $1,000 in their bank account. Now suddenly a lot of people can afford this and the demand for this becomes a lot higher. So what am I gonna do? Of course, I'm gonna raise the price. We can see this effect everywhere. Let's look at college tuition, for example. So back in the mid 80s, the average price of 1 year of college tuition in the United States was around $4,000. Fast forward to 2020 and the price has gone up nearly 10 times. Also look at house prices in the last 8 years alone. So in 2012, the median house price in the US was $162,000. And if we look at it now in 2020, it's almost $100,000 more. So as you can see, unfortunately, $100 today is not going to be worth $100 next year because it can buy a lot less stuff. So now let's get back to Bitcoin. So with Bitcoin, you cannot print more of it. There's only ever going to be 21 million Bitcoins ever produced. If you guys want me to get into the technicalities behind it, like how many Bitcoins get produced every day, like that pretty much deserves a whole other video. But for now, just know that that is programmed into the software of Bitcoin, that basically there can never be more than 21 million Bitcoins ever produced. So when you own Bitcoins, you are protecting yourself from that inflation because Bitcoin is a scarce asset. There's only so many of them in the world. So the price of it tends to go up every time more and more money gets printed. That is not the only reason, by the way, why Bitcoin is going up. I will leave some reading material for you guys in the description. But when you buy Bitcoin, not only are you protecting yourself against inflation, you're protecting yourself from the entire money system altogether. Look at what's happened in countries like Zimbabwe. So in Zimbabwe, like a loaf of bread costs like 1 trillion Zimbabwean dollars or something like that. So their money system has completely failed. The reason why in 2020, I personally became so interested in this topic of Bitcoin is because when the pandemic hit back in March, governments around the world printed more money than they ever have before. And they plan to do a lot more of that in the future. So I just wanted to make sure that the money that I work hard for is still worth something in the future. All right, let's move into point number 3, which is how Bitcoin works. Maybe you guys are interested in the topic now, but you don't exactly know how it works. So I will try my best to explain it to you. I'm going to use an example from Anthony Pompliano. He is the host of the Pomp podcast, which is one of the biggest crypto podcasts out there. So I'm sure most of you guys have played the game Monopoly. So in that game, there are the players and then there's the bank. The bank is basically all the money and all the property that all the players don't own. So anytime one of the players want to buy a property or they have to pay some fees, they just simply do it and all the players can see them doing it. You don't need one of the players in the game to actually be the bank. Everyone playing the game can see every single transaction that happens with the bank. Now imagine that every single transaction that happens in Monopoly was actually written down. For example, Josh passed go, he got $200. Josh bought this property, he paid $300. Now every single transaction that happens gets written down on this piece of paper. And then after 10 minutes, that paper is put away and a new paper starts. And this new paper takes down all the transactions for the next 10 minutes and so on and so forth. This is pretty much how Bitcoin works. So every 10 minutes, every single transaction that happens on the Bitcoin network is recorded on a ledger. And a ledger is pretty much like a digital piece of paper that has a list of every single transaction that happened. And every 10 minutes, all of these transactions get blocked together. You guys might have heard this term before, blockchain. So a blockchain is basically a chain of blocks that hold all the transactions that ever happened on that network. Bitcoin was first started in 2009. So literally anyone can go back all the way until 2009 and see every single transaction that happened on the Bitcoin network. If you guys want me to talk about how all of these transactions get verified on this Bitcoin network through Bitcoin mining, that's a whole other topic and it requires an entire video. But essentially, Bitcoin is a decentralized money system. You don't need a bank, you don't need a government to verify transactions because every single transaction happens in the open and it gets verified by all of the participants in the network. A lot of institutions are now starting to realize the potential of Bitcoin. PayPal just announced that starting in 2021, you can transact with Bitcoin on the PayPal network. That news actually caused the price of Bitcoin to rise quite a bit. Now Bitcoin is around $13,000. You guys might be thinking the price is really high. I don't when you think about what it could potentially be a couple of years from now. Once again, if you guys want me to get more into that topic, my predictions for what Bitcoin price is going to be, why I think it's going to be well over $100,000. If you guys are just interested in these kind of topics, man, I can make videos about what types of stocks I invest in, how much, how often. This is something I've been doing for almost 10 years now. So if you guys are interested in that topic, you want to see it on this channel, or if you even want me to start a brand new channel and do it, let me know down in the comments, man. I would love to make more videos like this. Finally, let's get into the easy part. So you guys are interested now, how do you actually go ahead and buy Bitcoin? You can use any crypto exchange to buy Bitcoin. I personally use Binance. You can use my Binance referral link that I will leave in the description. And if you use that link, you will get 30% back on all of the commissions you pay in the first 3 months. So on these exchanges, you can transfer like your dollars or your euros or whatever currency you have in your country. You can transfer it to these exchanges and use that money to actually buy cryptocurrencies. Now, as you can see, the current price of Bitcoin is around $13,000. I get this question a lot. That is very expensive, I can't afford it. Well, you don't actually need to buy one full Bitcoin. You can buy fractions of a Bitcoin. These are actually called Satoshis. A Satoshi is basically 1/100 millionth of a Bitcoin. So you can buy Bitcoin even with $1. My personal suggestion, like if you're not really comfortable with the whole thing, is you should have at least 1% of your money in Bitcoin. Once you read about it, once you get more comfortable with the topic, and by the way, the best book ever written about Bitcoin is called The Bitcoin Standard. I will leave a link to that in the description as well. well. Once you guys get more familiar with it and you understand it, then yeah, you can definitely invest more than 1%. I'm not a financial advisor or anything. This is just my opinion. I believe that the risk of not owning Bitcoin is much higher than having just 1% of your money in Bitcoin. And that's about it, man. Let me know down in the comments if you found this video useful. That would really help me a lot. Definitely hit that like button. If I get a lot of likes on this video, of course, that's gonna tell me that you guys found this useful and you wanna see more content like this. Thank you guys once again. You guys are amazing. Until next time, peace.